And a good Saturday morning. Welcome to Sports Talk. What a sports weekend we have in store.
About it, actually. Boggles the mind to think about.
Boggles
the mind.
Boggles
Yes.
the mind. I realized something last night or yesterday during the day. I guess it was before the action started. They play the women's Elite Eight round after the men.
Yes.
And then they turn around and play the women's Final Four.
Before the men.
So
yeah, isn't that something?
the rest that they get is how many days? If you played the last game to get in.
Yeah, a couple teams only got 3 days.
3 days?
Yeah.
That's
you
enough.
played the last game on Monday.
That's
and
enough.
then you're playing again on Friday.
Honestly, I think the women's basketball tournament gets more attention that way.
Oh, well, that's the design.
It is. And I even caught myself watching a little bit last night when I got home from high school baseball coverage. And honestly, I didn't fall asleep with it on the tube. I'll just go ahead and tell you, I did not fall asleep. I think around halftime is when I switched it and was watching something else when I fell asleep. And I didn't know who won the game, although in my mind I did know who won the game.
Yeah.
But I didn't confirm it till this morning when I got up, clicked it on, and saw that UConn had won 63-58 last night. And you guys tell me it's their 14th Final Four appearance in a row.
14th Final Four appearance in a row. They've won 11 national titles.
They have won 11, not in that span.
No,
overall.
No.
Gino Auriemma's won 11.
Okay.
He's been to 11 title games and won all 11 of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is his 22nd Final Four.
No, he hadn't won all those Final Fours.
No, he's 12-10 in semifinal games.
Yeah.
But when he gets to the championship, he wins it.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah.
Not bad. I've got some stats on another guy who may be just the opposite when we'll talk about that in a little bit when we get into the men's bracket. Not totally opposite, but somewhat opposite when it comes to his record.
In the Final Four?
Yeah. But the first game last night, you guys tell me that South Carolina played well. That Brett or one of you said you thought that they looked the best of the four teams, and I said, well, maybe it was the opponent. Maybe Louisville wasn't quite as good as either UConn or Stanford. And I don't know what the average score is when these semi, like if you go back through the last 10, 20 years and see the average score, 63-58 seems a little low to me, and maybe that's just.
Yeah, I thought both games seemed a little.
Okay.
What was the other one?
72-59.
Yeah, at least they made the 70s.
So, yeah, not as low for South Carolina, but that's probably average.
Yeah, I watched most of the second half of this game. A little bit of the first half, took a break. I don't know. I thought UConn was just they just played better last night. They executed better. They played better defense. Stanford, which is a really high-scoring team, I think just got out of their rhythm, and they didn't have a good night shooting. But I really think a lot of that probably was UConn's defense. And UConn has this one player. I can't think of her name right now, Brett. But she is a difference maker. I mean, she can create her own shots, controls the ball. I think she was last year's Player of the Year in women's college basketball. But her name?
Yeah, it's Beckers.
Beckers, yes, absolutely.
Beckers.
We do know our last name is Beckers, yeah. But she's the kind of player UConn's had all these years.
I think it's Paige Beckers.
Paige Beckers.
She had an injury mid-season.
That's right.
Missed a little time, I think.
But how many times over the years has UConn had that one player that just elevates herself above the fray? I mean, we've seen it going
all the time.
All the way back to Rebecca Lobo, who was on the broadcast last night commentating.
And South Carolina has a great post player.
Alicia Boston.
Well, yeah, well, I got real excited here when I saw Happy Tears. Boston leads, and then it said South Carolina to finals. So I got kind of excited there. But Boston
she is really good.
South Carolina to the finals.
Was dominant last night.
Yeah, and she's been that for them. So that'll be interesting. You got probably the two best players in the country going at it on Sunday night. Not Monday night, Sunday night.
Here's the part that is so different from the men's side, and Lenny confirms what you guys said. Yes, 11-0 for Gino in title games. So if you're betting money tonight, do you bet for that streak at some point? It's got to end. You go with law averages, or do you say the guy never loses? And I'm betting.
No, I wouldn't bet against,
or not tonight. But,
UConn.
But I guess that's tomorrow night.
I just don't think you.
No,
can.
never.
I wouldn't put money on it. But I think South Carolina's a better team.
They're in the boat with Shelby and who's the other one I said don't ever bet against Shelby in anything.
Tom Brady.
UConn.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, I guess you can throw Tommy Boy in there.
Yeah, how many sure bets are there in sport? UConn seems to be.
And he's lost a few Super Bowls, and Shelby's lost a couple title games, but I
but
still
you don't
wouldn't bet
against
him.
That's right. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah.
More often than not, it goes in their favor. Yeah, and then we'll get into that in a little bit because. You don't even bet on Tommy to not be running a franchise at some point because it seems like he's in charge right now.
I guess he's the
where he's at.
He's going to be the offensive coach and player, right?
Well, will they pay him for both positions? We've already found out that he doesn't care about the money. He'll take pay cuts so they can add players to.
But then, of course, he's already added one. Is it Julius?
Part I like about
Julius
him the best.
Edelman is coming to.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, I saw that last
I thought that was an
night.
April Fool's thing.
Oh, was that April Fool's?
Yeah, Mike got hammered a lot on that yesterday.
Yeah, I did.
I
Got
showed
hammered
him
last night, too.
I showed him that Shelby, the black helmets, they were going to the black helmets on Twitter.
Matt Black
it was
helmets.
an April
Yeah, I
Fool's
saw
joke.
something about Lenore Ryan switching to the Honey Bears.
And and black and
Black
gold.
and
that was
But here's the thing, in an age of so much misinformation, you have a day like April Fool's, and you're really confused because you don't know what to believe anyway. When it comes to
LeBron James
social
announced
media.
retirement yesterday online.
Yeah.
And then he played last night.
Yeah. Well, there's all kinds of things.
When I heard Chris Rock and Will Smith are going out to dinner together soon.
Well, that's probably going to happen soon. soon could still happen. I'm telling you, they're going to make a movie together, and it will be a smash. So
how about
that's
a pursuit of slappiness?
Yeah, well, that'll work. All I know is, no matter what the title, I know what the last line of the movie should be.
What's that?
I'll tell you sometime.
Okay.
I will tell you sometime. 63-58 last night in that women's game. UConn takes care of business against Stanford. I did notice last night that all the teams in that were there were ones except UConn.
Yeah.
So who was the one they eliminated along the way?
NC State.
Okay, State was the one. That's right. Double overtime.
And I still got a beef about that one. I'm not a huge Wolfpack fan. I'll pull for the ACC in a situation like this. But, I didn't really think that one seed ever should suffer a home court disadvantage because the regional was played where? Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Didn't we sit in the men's tournament? Didn't you tell me, Brett, that who was it? Wasn't there a men's team that also played a one seed that played in the home state of their opponent?
Sure.
I was thinking but continue.
No, I'm just thinking the one seed deserves some type of advantage, I think. Because you're a one seed.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen number two seeds shipped out. In the men's tournament, Duke was shipped out to the West, right? I don't know. I just think NC State being a one seed, UConn's a two seed, but the regional semis and finals were played in Bridgeport, Connecticut, which is kind of a home away from home for the Huskies. So,
yeah, I can see. I know that first round they try, at least in the men's, they try to put people.
Yeah, geographic.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Some of them you can't do them all just because of the way the seating works. But
pods.
But
kind of thing.
You're going to get Butch fired up. He's already texted me anyway, and you said pods. You said the word pods.
The word pod is not good for Butch.
I think it was South Carolina. I think it was women's. South Carolina played North Carolina, and it was in Greensboro.
Who did Houston?
And South Carolina was a one seed.
Who did Houston in the men's tournament get knocked out by just a couple days ago? Was it not played in Texas?
I think it was played in San Antonio. Yeah.
And who did they? Because I thought Houston. I mean, Houston was, I thought, playing very well and could make it all the way to the Final Four.
Well, they beat Arizona, and Arizona was the 1 seed.
Was that in Texas? I think it might have been. That may be the one I'm trying to think of.
Could have been.
Is playing Arizona. You got a one there, having to go into Texas and play. You know, I don't know maybe how you avoid that without really messing up the seeding. You know.
Yeah.
Here's one thing I wouldn't do ever is put in that region. Don't put the 2, 3,
San
or 4.
Antonio.
Don't put the 2, 3, or 4. What was Houston?
A 5.
Well, they followed that rule then. They didn't put the 2, 3, or 4.
In Arizona, the 1.
They put the 5 in there.
Well, yeah, this women's regional.
But it cost them. I mean, it may have cost them.
Mm-hmm.
They're out.
Yeah.
Don't know if that home court advantage had anything to do with it or not. And it's not their home court.
No.
But it is, their home state.
Yeah, but
Makes a little bit of difference.
A lot easier for Houston fans to get there than Arizona. Well, I guess it is.
Butch
I don't
says
know.
Fort Worth. So maybe is he talking about where
does
that
Fort
game?
Worth ever cross your mind?
Fort Wayne for Mike.
Fort Wayne. but no, I mean, it was overwhelming majority of fans in Bridgeport, of course, were UConn fans. State had a small contingent.
I know.
But
hey, just don't ever forget, Final Four, NC State beat UCLA in Greensboro.
That's right. It was.
We talked about that last night.
Yeah.
1974, 5, 6. What was that year?
Yeah, 74. Yeah, UCLA had to come all the way from the West
Yeah.
Coast to State's back door, essentially.
And that was a semifinal game. And
Semifinal
overtime, double overtime. What was it?
Yeah,
It was 80 to 77, and it might have just been regulation, but I was thinking like it might have was an overtime involved there in that game. But but you never know. It might have added one to UCLA had they not had to. Of course, you already pre-warned me that UCLA got plenty of NCAA tournament games on their in their
They basically
region,
played
their
all
home
their
floor.
regionals during the John Wooden era in Poly Pavilion.
Yep. So we can't.
Yeah,
they can't complain about having to go on the road once or twice along the way.
they just got beat by one of those magical NC State teams with a great player in David Thompson, right?
I had forgotten that NC State lost to UCLA that year during the season by double digits.
Yeah, early on. They played in
16 or 18.
They played in the middle of the country. I want to think it was St. Louis. A very hyped-up game.
Right.
Very hyped up.
Did a little research reading on Final Fours, and that was one of the top ones that popped up.
Because remember the year before,
year.
NC State was on probation, yet they went. Does everybody remember they went undefeated?
They did go undefeated. Seems like you always go undefeated when you're on probation. Did Indiana not do something similar?
That's what I don't know.
For some reason, that
I'm not sure. I know they went undefeated in '76 when they won it, but I don't know.
Butch says the 2 overtime women's game on Monday night between NC State and UConn was a great game, 91-87.
One of the best I've seen.
And his last line says, and State got screwed. Explain.
Unless he's talking about the obvious home court, away from home advantage that UConn had. There may have been some other things, maybe some calls. I don't know.
Okay.
He needs to explain that.
Well, I thought you had said something earlier that made me think that you had something in mind.
No, I was just talking about
got screwed. So.
The arena, the venue.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
maybe
during the game, there was a lot of calls. I don't know exactly what Butch is referring to.
So where was that game played?
Bridgeport,
okay,
Connecticut.
Well, I've been through Connecticut. It can't be too far from Stores.
Yeah, not that big a state, right?
It didn't take long to go through Connecticut. And a few other states up in the New England area. It doesn't take a lot of time to get through. Paige, what was her last name?
Beckers.
Beckers. Paige Beckers was Player of the Year last year, and she was a freshman. This is from Lenny. She had been hurt since January and just came back.
Yeah, I think that's the edge they have that drove them.
Yeah, she had some kind of surgery.
Yeah.
It was a leg injury. I think she came back a few games before the tournament started, kind of worked her way back in, played like 12 minutes a game, and then once the tournament started, she's been playing her normal, 35 minutes a game.
I think one of the big players last night for UConn was a transfer from Tennessee. I want to say a big girl. I can't think of her name right now, but she made some big shots. I had a trivia question the other night. I can't believe I missed this.
You say that every week.
I know. I don't perform well in this situation sometimes, but
Under pressure.
under pressure. But no, the question was, which women's team has gone undefeated 6 times in the tournament and won 11 championships?
I think we've been talking about them all morning.
Yeah, UConn. But see, I kept thinking back to Pat Summitt and her great
You were
run.
thinking, is this a trick question that
Yeah.
wants you to say UConn?
But it's really Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many Tennessee won during the Pat Summitt era. I know they dominated for years, but they never dominated the way Ariema and UConn has dominated.
I thought you were going to say REM. Let me ask you this. Is any other women's program that you can recall been the dynasty of Tennessee and UConn? Do you remember another one in your lifetime?
Who came before Tennessee? Who was the best program
That's what I mean,
before
yeah,
Tennessee
yeah.
came along?
That's what I mean.
You got to really go back.
'Cause that's far back as I can remember.
Or was it
when,
just
when
like
Tennessee was
at
really
random? Like, I mean,
I think it was at random. And the women's game.
good. Were any
has
West Coast
grown.
teams ever really? I know Southern Cal had some good teams in the
Yeah,
in the
Cheryl
80s.
Miller. But when Cheryl Miller played, they were really good. They probably
guess
won a
so.
national title or two.
I would say so.
She was an Olympian.
That's the real USC.
Yeah.
The real USC.
The real.
South Carolina
US.
just gets screwed. They can't be USC or Carolina.
I know.
You have to call
What
them
can
South Carolina.
they be? I know, that's funny.
Well, most people from North Carolina would say that's okay.
Yeah.
Most people from the
I've
state.
never liked South Carolina since they seceded from
Well,
the ACC.
I work with people
I'm
that are
sorry.
from South Carolina, went to South Carolina, and they just say Carolina, and
And
they're
you're
talking
thinking
about
other-
South Carolina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you're thinking
Yeah,
the one that.
I mean, the only
Hails from
Carolina
Chapel Hill.
is UNC.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
for
you
sure.
know, that's.
Hey,
I
when
want-
I went to Clemson, that was the hardest adjustment for me to make because everybody said Carolina.
And
Yeah.
You thought of the
Yeah.
of the baby
I
blue.
know. Baby blue.
I wonder if they go through the exact same thing in Dakota North. They go say, yeah, well, Dakota won.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or I just don't sound right. But then we don't live out there, so
that's really tough,
maybe
'cause
Carolina don't sound
Yeah,
right
North
to them.
Dakota State, South Dakota State. I mean, they're
yeah.
both
They call
really
them state,
good.
and we
They are
call
both
we
good.
call NC State state.
That's right. So does Michigan
Yeah.
State. I mean, that's
And a
all
lot
the
of
way they
other
refer
probably
to
a lot of other states.
it. Yep, that's the. At one time, yeah, that's all. I
Arizona
think
State
NC
probably
State
just says
has to
state.
identify themselves now and put
Yeah.
NC on there because they're so obscure. But back in the day, they just had state across their shirt, and Michigan State's still that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't put Michigan on there. They just
Well,
put state
now,
on there.
when NC State made its miracle run in '83, it was just state, wasn't it, across the jersey?
I would think so.
Derek
I mean, that's all I
Wittenberg.
remember in my childhood is they just had the word state on the front. But I'm pretty sure now they got NC
They do have NC.
on there.
And what
because
about Ohio State? You
What?
think in Ohio they just call them state, or do you think?
one?
I mean, in Ohio,
okay.
that's the marquee
Yeah.
university,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
whereas
Ohio
in North
State.
Carolina, it's not. And in
You
Michigan,
can call it the marquee university if you want.
in Michigan, it's pretty. I would guess pretty even between
Yeah.
Michigan
Yeah.
and Michigan State.
Yeah, the University of Ohio, the Bobcats. I'll tell you how obscure they are, and I won't call her out here on the air. But a kid was coming to my. I bought a lunch this week, and a kid was coming to my room to bring me change.
Mhm.
And the lady that called me said, so and so's bringing your change back. I gave her 20, and it was 10, and she's just
Yeah.
sending my change back. And she said, he'll be wearing a green Ohio State shirt. And I
Ooh.
said, I want to say, no, he won't. So you know what it was when he got there. It was a bright
Ohio
green Ohio
Bobcats.
University, the Bobcats. Smaller school, smaller level, but still pretty good athletically.
Yeah. There's a lot
University
of
Ohio.
schools in Ohio
Oh,
that
yeah.
compete.
My God, Ball State's in Ohio, right?
Indiana.
No, Indiana. That's
Kent
Yeah.
State.
Let's leave
Kent
Mike
State.
out of the geography.
Akron.
Ooh, I'm not doing good. Kent State, Akron,
Dayton.
Dayton Flyers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just a few that come to mind.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Well, now that's according to which Ohio resident you ask. Have you ever hear who was it that made the joke? The people of Cleveland and the people of Cincinnati have never been the best of friends. And there was a statement one time from somebody in the Cleveland area that said, "Let's just give the city of Cincinnati to Kentucky, and it'll improve the IQ of both states." So figure that out. I thought that was one of the classic lines that I had ever heard. It improved the IQ of both states. Figure that out. You got that figured out, Mike Powell?
I think I did.
Delta State was good many years ago. Lenny's talking about women's. Delta State was good many years ago.
What about Louisiana Tech?
Another women's program.
Louisiana Tech. That's right.
He said there was they were good. Another women's program called Immaculate or something in the early days.
Yeah, Immaculata, something like that. It was a Catholic.
Immaculata.
Oh,
I thought he was trying to describe
That's
them. You're telling me it's a name.
Starbucks
That's the name. I do recall reading that. Yeah, they were dominated early. Private Catholic school, so recall.
I knew Mike would remember that.
Yeah.
That might have been your drink from Duncan this morning.
Immaculata. I was thinking about the Immaculata reception.
The Immaculate Reception.
Arizona, Lenny says, when we're talking about the teams that had to go and play in a regional against a team in their home state.
Yeah.
He said it was Arizona. And he also says that NC State UCLA game, like Mike said, played in St. Louis at what was called the Checker Dome in 1974.
Yeah, because UCLA had won it with Bill Walton the year before. NC State was on probation, but they went undefeated, so they were trying to set up this big game between these two titans, and played in St. Louis. UCLA dominated, beat them by double figures.
Shocker. But then they got revenge, though.
And they did indeed.
When it counted the most.
Counted the most in Greensboro.
Butch says the screwing he's talking about of NC State against UConn in that double overtime game, a horrible 5-second missed call at the end of the game, not called against UConn. Okay. Now my question on the 5-second thing is it getting the ball in bounds? That's my first thought, but it could also be in defensive.
I think it was an inbound.
Does women even have the 5-second defensive pressure?
Yeah.
Call? Okay. I'm just asking. I mean, some rules are a little different in the women's game.
I think they do.
So I forgot last night whenever I saw it was like 10-9 with a minute and something to go. That wasn't in the half. It was just the first quarter.
Yeah, that freaked me out too. I tuned in.
I'm like, oh Lord, you talking about some of these men's games being defensive struggles.
Yeah,
this is
but
it was
I
just
tuned
a quarter.
out 3 minutes left, and I thought it was typical men's game first half, and it was like you say, 12-10 or 8-4 or something.
And they've probably been in quarters now. What, 5 years or more?
5 years
or something. But
should the men go to quarters?
It's not the first thing that I. No, it's what sets college apart from high school and pro.
Yeah.
It's the only, it's the only level where you do have the 20-minute halves and it's played in halves. And don't change it, because I'm going to tell you what, the only thing it does is add another TV timeout.
That's all it does.
Yeah.
The
only fun part about the quarters is 2 more chances for buzzer beaters.
Yeah.
Things like that.
That's
but,
true.
But
end of quarter shots.
Yeah. But
that does.
Yeah. But I like the 20 minutes. Like I said, let's keep something to keep college set apart from high schools, and I think if anything, why not take the high school game to the 16-minute halves? Because aren't you trying to prepare to go play college basketball? So it would seem like play middle school in quarters, then when you move to high school, you play 16-minute halves.
And add a shot clock.
As a coach, Lenny, would you like 16-minute halves, or would it even make a difference? Would it even make a difference? It does give you the extra timeout, though, the free timeout during the half.
I like it the way it is.
Do you?
With the quarters.
Yeah, I got no problem with it. I'm just saying, if you made any change at all.
Yeah. 16-minute halves.
Yeah. Wouldn't go to 20-minute because that wouldn't.
No.
I would like to see a shot clock in high school.
Would you? For what reason?
Well, that's
just to get rid of so much, like in the fourth quarter, if a team's got a lead, running as much clock as possible and making the end of the game boring.
If you ask me, if I want a shot clock, and to me, it doesn't matter either way in high school. I can take it or leave it. Doesn't matter. It's not going to affect me if they do. But it rewards defense. shot clock rewards defense.
Yeah.
Because you can get out there and bust your tail for 30 seconds.
And not get an opening shot.
Yeah. And you might run yourself to death without one because.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if you had a shot clock in high school, the really athletic, gifted teams would just, be more dominant than they are, because at least without a shot clock, teams can try to slow down tempo.
Control the tempo.
Well, it can make the blowouts worse.
It can.
Yeah.
Well, okay, number one
But
rule
you just have
change,
to have a point where you turn it off.
Number one rule change in high school basketball should be 40 down to 25.
Yeah. The running clock thing. Yeah, 40's.
You're not going to
too
see
much.
teams come back from a 25-point
I'm
deficit
like
in
you.
high
I'm
school.
with you.
Like when it gets to 25, running clock.
Running
because
clock.
That'll limit the embarrassment some.
Yeah.
40? Come on.
Yeah,
How many
ridiculous.
teams do you see get up to 40? How many games do you see get up to 40? I mean, it has to be really bad for one to get to 40.
Yep.
Lenny says actually would have been 73 because they played UCLA in December. So they played them that season, the 73-74 season.
Right.
But it was in December.
It
of
was
73.
early. I do remember that.
Yeah. Late December 1973. Oh, what a night.
Oh, what a night.
It was an inbounds play, but says they didn't get the ball in 5 seconds. They didn't get the whistle, and the rest is history. We
might be more of that home court advantage, not getting that 5-second call.
Never know, do you? Never know.
Yeah.
My only question I got was Teddy Valentine involved in any way in officiating.
Yeah, well, NC State had a chance to win that game in regulation. They had they had the ball with 18 seconds left. Didn't get off a great shot. It was like a 22-footer. One girl just dribbled out on the perimeter. How many times have you seen that lately, guys? They just dribble till it's 3 seconds to go, then get off a bad shot.
Have to fire something
why not
up.
just run your offense?
Yeah, have to
run
fire
your
something
offense.
Up. Never know. I mean, different coaches, different philosophies.
Yeah. So really, I have to. NC State's in-game strategy at the end of the regulation was not the best.
Yeah, right. But you can blame NC State there for that. But,
Yeah.
But you can't blame NC State for if they
5
actually
seconds.
held,
That's
if,
true.
If they actually held them 5 seconds, they didn't get the
Yeah.
ball in. The whistle should have blown.
Yeah. But they
I
had
agree.
a great year. What was it, 34-3? A really great year for NC State.
Well, it's like you gotta decide what's more important: getting yourself a good shot,
Or
not letting the other team get the ball back.
Yep.
Yep, that's right.
Which is more important.
Sounds like neither happened.
Neither happened. I just think getting off a good shot.
Well,
makes
UConn didn't get the ball back.
Okay.
So they
Okay.
did do that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But the state was forced
okay,
to take a bad shot.
It wasn't just the shot clock; it
Yeah.
was the game clock.
Yeah.
So I kind of agree. Hold it for one shot.
Guys,
and-
did you, as a coach, do you really want to go into overtime? I mean, you want to try to avoid
better than
that.
losing.
It's better than losing, but I don't know. In that situation, State really needed a good shot.
I like the idea of trying to shoot with 4 seconds
Yeah,
left.
yeah.
Give yourself a chance for a rebound.
Yeah.
Well, my philosophy would be if you get an open look, and I'm not talking about maybe from behind the 3-point, but in the paint or
A
something.
layup, yeah.
You
You
take
get an
it.
open layup, you take
just
it.
go ahead and take
with
it.
10
Well,
seconds
I'd take
left.
Right.
a mid-ranger
But-
over a desperation three,
But
wouldn't you?
Well, the only thing about the mid-ranger is if it rims out and they go.
You
the
gotta
other
make
end.
it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
you got to make it.
Well,
It's got to be
that's,
makeable.
that's the truth of any last
And
shot.
you're still setting yourself up to
but
lose on a three-pointer.
Oh, yeah.
It is the truth of any last shot, Mike. That's why you take it when they don't have time to get it down the floor.
I get the strategy.
But
But some teams just seem to guard dribbles for 15 seconds. He tries
Yeah,
to
well,
make a move.
some teams can execute that
Yeah.
holding for one shot a little
Hold it for
better
one
than
shot. Sure
they can.
others.
Sure they can. And that's
Mhm.
why
We might see it today.
that team's moving on
Yeah, we might see that
to
today.
the next round. All right, let's take our first time out. We appreciate you tuning in to Sports Talk this morning. Lots to talk about in the next
Yeah.
3 quarters. Back in a minute.
3 quarters.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. At Stifel Nicholas, we're committed to offering investors personalized investment guidance. We're a full-service organization with departments staffed with professionals that specialize in a wide range of investment opportunities, from the most conservative to the most aggressive. We strive to give each account, regardless of size, careful, individual attention. Call Fort Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times.
All right, it's Final Four Saturday. That's going to be the hot topic, of course, all over the nation, not just in North Carolina, not just in Kansas.
Will this be,
not just in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania,
tonight, the most watched NCAA game ever?
There's a good chance.
Trying to think what some of the other milestones are as far as.
Well, the national championship game, I'm sure, is always heavily watched. You know, I was thinking about this, and we've even mentioned it, you know, to each other. The only thing could have been better if for these two rivals to meet if it could have happened just only on Monday. Yeah, you know, if they you know. But then there's another
could have happened in '91.
But then there's a chance that you know, we don't have the matchup because obviously one of them could get beat on Saturday if they were.
But we know that one of these two teams will be in the championship game Monday night.
Unless something happens. Yeah.
You know, it almost happened in '91. Remember, Kansas was playing North Carolina. Duke was playing.
And the Kansas-North Carolina game was first, right?
Yeah, that was the game that Dean Smith
was ejected at the end.
ejected
at the end of the game.
Kansas won it.
Yeah, right. And who was Duke against? Was it UNLV?
Yeah.
Okay.
77-73. Who's going to forget that score?
The only reason I guess UNLV is because I couldn't think of who it was. That's weird, isn't it? It's like it wasn't them, but well, maybe it was.
It was.
But okay.
UNLV was undefeated, went into the Final Four unbeaten.
But it says, damn, I'm old. Going down memory lane 45 years ago. I'll agree with him with that first part. Going down memory lane.
Memory lane.
He said, I'm old. Memory today is 45 years ago today. Can you tell me what happened 45 years ago on this day? And it has to do with NCAA basketball.
Indeed, 42. And so you got to go back to what?
I was going to say Brett probably wasn't watching.
No.
40. You got to go back to the 70s, 80s.
Why not? You're not the mathematician either.
No, I'm not a mathematician. He said 45 years. Okay, I have to
in my
say,
recollection, that's the 70s.
1977. Yeah, that was the Final Four with North Carolina, Marquette, UNCC, Cornbread Maxwell.
And who was the fourth team in that? Because
Vegas.
Was it Vegas? That's what I was thinking. They'd answer to a lot.
UNC beat Vegas in the semi with Phil Ford, and then lost to
Vegas has to definitely. We talked about this a week or 2 weeks ago. The best mid-major program of all time. It's got to be Vegas.
Yeah,
because multiple Final Four appearances.
Yeah. I liked old Tark the Shark, and I mean he was a little on the edgy side to be.
Butch's comment on that is Cornbread Maxwell rocked the world.
He did
back in that.
That was an incredible
They were in the Final
run.
Four, and talking about maybe getting shafted there toward the end of the game. We'll always remember. I can't remember what the controversy was, but I just know that Marquette had a kid named Jerome Whitehead.
Jerome Whitehead. All I remember, length of the court pass to Jerome Whitehead.
Was it that he traveled? Did it have to do with the clock? Or
traveled.
They thought he traveled and didn't call it. Okay.
He turns, he gets the ball deep into the lane, or in the middle of the lane, he just turns and puts it up. But I think the thing was he might have shuffled, did the Harlem shuffle there or something. Anyway.
So they escaped. They won that game over Charlotte, and then they win the next night. And
And Lenny will remember this. I bet it's etched in his memory. Carolina leading by 11, wasn't it?
Did they in the national championship game?
They go to their famed four corners, or 9. They had a decent lead.
I did not remember that.
Yeah, went to the 4.
Well, they lost by around 10, didn't they? Or am I wrong?
Completely changed the momentum of the game.
I'll get Lenny's comment on that and see if he recalls. Was it a double-digit lead at one time for Carolina? I didn't know. Of course, I was,
They just completely. I mean, the whole momentum shifted once Carolina went. Took the air out of the ball.
Lenny says Arizona was a number 1 seed, probably sent to Texas because Gonzaga was the overall one.
Okay.
And stayed in the West. Kept them, at least that close.
Well, that was another regional anyway. Yeah. So it's probably the South regional, or had to be the South.
Then he says, unfortunately, like you said, Houston worked its way to the Sweet 16 to meet Arizona as a number 5. Here's how quick things can change. I thought at one point Houston was good enough to win this thing.
Yeah.
And then they get eliminated last Saturday or Sunday. You guys will have to or was it Thursday or Friday? Which round did
they? It was Villanova beat them in the Elite Eight. I don't remember which day it was.
In the Elite Eight.
It was in the Elite Eight.
It was Saturday.
Yeah, so a regional final.
Houston had a good run. They didn't get back to the Final Four, but they got to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, it was the day that Duke played Arkansas. It was the game before.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Sunday's winners were Kansas and Carolina.
And Villanova now has – what a second half Kansas played.
The
first half they looked mediocre. The second half they looked like NBA.
Yeah.
I think Kansas's second half over Miami and North Carolina's first half over Baylor were the two most impressive.
Yeah, they were. So this is the best, two most impressive halves of basketball in the tournament, probably.
You know, and you wonder. I don't know if teams can play at that level again, or for a full game. But we're gonna find out.
Well,
Kansas. What amazed me is
with Kansas, Villanova's not going to let them play at that level.
No.
For 40 minutes.
Yeah, if Kansas would have played the second half like it did the first half, they would be watching today.
Yeah, they didn't look great in the first half.
No, they didn't. So you just wonder which one you're going to get when you're Villanova when you step on the floor. But like you said, Villanova's defense, I was impressed with them with what they did against.
And everybody's writing
Houston.
them off because of the injury to their number 2 guy.
That's just something to use for motivation.
Oh, yeah.
You know, 2 things. One, we lost one of our best players. We're going to all rally. I can't imagine that Jay Wright don't have somebody ready to fill the spot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
On that
Villanova, they won't
bench.
go down without a fight.
Right.
I mean,
It's not
that
gonna be
game,
a
I don't think that's
walkover.
going to be a blowout.
No.
Yep, I wouldn't think so.
And I won't be surprised if Villanova wins. I mean, I would pick Kansas if I had to pick, but
will you be surprised if any of the 4 teams left cut down the nets?
No.
This is one of the most even Final Fours.
It's all blue blood.
now
I think in history.
if you would have said, back in January, maybe mid-February, that Carolina could win it all,
Right.
I wouldn't have thought so at all.
No.
But they're a different team right now.
Got better and better.
Yeah,
Playing with
their
confidence.
guards are playing great,
When you play with confidence,
and that's what they were
everything changes.
missing early in the season.
Yeah, that was it. And also letting R.J. Davis start to, kind of run the show and let Caleb Love drift, the number 2 guard, look for his shot. And this Manic guy, you realize, guys, he's hitting 70%. He's shooting 70% in the NCAA tournament. So basically, when he fires one up, it's probably going in. I mean, 70%.
So you wonder, can he continue that, or does he actually cool off? Just like with anybody.
With anybody.
Well,
Just
he's
like with
had
anybody.
a couple off 3-point shooting games.
Their off
in the
game was
tournament.
actually Sunday. They were just fortunate that
They did-
played
yeah,
an
they didn't
inferior
play- they didn't
opponent
play
because
great
Sunday, I
offense.
told Mike, it was 6 for 22
Yeah,
from 3-point
they
range.
didn't shoot well,
Right.
but they got most of the rebounds when they missed.
They did.
I mean,
They did.
that's that's the difference in size.
I told Mike
between
it was
them
like
and
it was
St.
like
Peter's.
a dad playing with his 6-year-old son. Dad would grab the ball, hold it up over his head, and the son couldn't do anything about it.
What amazed me, guys, was how a really a team like St. Peter's, which their height was like mid-major height, which is what they were, right? They didn't have anybody over.
It's like
6'7".
mid-height.
Mid-height.
Much less
I
major.
mean, everybody was 6'2",
Yeah,
6'3". They didn't have
mid-minor.
anybody over 6'7". And how in the world did they get past Kentucky? How in the world and then in the regional final?
That one
They
baffles
got
me.
past
That one baffles
Kentucky
me.
because they
That
caught them off guard.
But
and
how
they-
did they get past Purdue?
They didn't
with,
catch
the
Carolina
7-4
off guard.
guy? Yeah.
You guys,
If they had played Carolina in the first round, they might have beat
got it.
Carolina.
we got to get in right because they did sneak up.
Yeah.
But you guys have really baffled me during this whole tournament. Everybody said Purdue, Purdue, Purdue. Purdue hasn't shown me
No.
a thing.
I've
I
never
know.
said anything about
Overhyped,
Purdue.
I mean,
yeah.
there's so
Big
many people
Ten.
though that have said stuff about how did that Purdue do this? How did Purdue lose?
Because,
it's Big Ten. They have Big Ten. Obviously, turned out to be weak.
Yeah.
Weaker than we thought.
But see, that's all we
Again.
hear throughout the season by college basketball commentators. Jay Billis, Seth Greenberg, the strength of the Big Ten, the best, second best conference in the country.
Is it
And then-
Ivy that's supposed to be the star of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I heard his name called twice in
Yeah.
that
He's
elimination
supposed to be a
game.
lottery pick.
Yeah, I mean,
don't-
he
Yeah.
disappeared. He disappeared.
Wisconsin
at
went
crunch
down.
time.
They were disappointing. I mean, the Big Ten.
We're going to get to all that in a few minutes. First, I want to mention two messages that come through here, and then we're going to do the high school baseball scores that I have from last night.
Right.
Most outstanding player in the 77 Final Four, Butch Lee, whose son actually played for St. Peter's
Oh yeah, Butch
last
Lee,
week.
the guard.
And that was one time when the Four Corners cost Carolina 67
No question.
to 59. So they
No
lost the
doubt.
game by 8. Do you remember the biggest lead in the game?
Yeah.
Lenny, did it ever get to double digits? Because I don't remember.
It was 6, 8, 9 points at least. I mean, when Carolina went to the infamous Four Corners.
Who was coaching that Carolina team?
Dean.
Dean.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't know he ever lost.
Butch says, hey, Brett, was that back when the Heels fans were calling for Hubert's head? You're talking about when mid-season when they and he's done a terrific job.
Oh, he has.
Yeah,
but let's give him credit. I mean,
okay, let's say this: Carolina's not the only program in the country that would have been calling for a new coach's head.
No.
At the midway point when the season was going that way.
Yeah.
You know, all the top programs in the country would have been.
Really would.
Well, if Duke starts out,
if they start
10-7 next year,
with Shire,
what's everybody going to think?
Who's our next coach?
And you know what? That could happen because I know that Shire's bringing in allegedly the number 1 class, but it's a completely new team. It's going to be made up almost entirely of freshmen unless they bring in a transfer.
You know, Carolina did it for a little while. Fortunately for them, they got over it before the end of the season. They got through the growing pains of a new coach and what it takes to be successful.
So let's give Hubie Davis his due.
Yes.
He's got them playing great.
Yep. And, I think they're actually I can't imagine the Carolina fans not happy right now with who's coaching their squad.
What's unique about them? They got 4 guys that can score. I mean, Leaky Black's a defensive specialist. On the other hand, Duke's got 5 guys that can score. So I don't know what'll happen there.
Yep. 9 guys will score. Most likely, 9 guys.
Leaky Black will score 25.
Probably.
Who will score the most? Leaky Black for Carolina or Theo John for Duke?
Well, Leaky Black, because he's going to be on the score. He's going to be on the floor.
He'll be a floor a lot
37
more than
minutes.
Theo will be.
And you're taking a starter versus a sub
reserves.
Too.
It's a spot.
Leaky Black's going to play the whole game because he's a great defender.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you
and he's not. I mean, he's a good player. He's not just a good defender. He just doesn't. He just doesn't shoot much.
Ask who would turn the ball over more. It might not matter about on the floor time. John still might be able to.
Or more fouls.
Yeah.
Who's got the best bench? I don't think either team has much of a bench.
It's different. It is different.
Well, Duke does.
With Trevor Kill.
Because they have Kills coming off the bench.
And Duke hardly ever has a deep bench, but I'm surprised by Carolina's that they don't play.
They're only really using one guy.
Usually they'll play 9 or 10.
Who's the dude? Puff Johnson?
Puff Johnson has played. And, in that ACC tournament, and maybe a little before, they were playing the kid from Kinston, Styles.
Yeah.
But he ain't got as much time.
He played well
in the
ACC tournament.
I thought he did too.
Didn't that guy hit a big shot in the tournament earlier? The NCAA tournament, Styles. Maybe I'm wrong.
It was the Baylor game when they had a couple guys.
Baylor game.
Yeah.
Foul. Well, Manick was off the court.
Yeah.
And Caleb Love fouled out.
Okay.
So, they were forced to play a couple of their bench guys, and he did hit a big shot.
They say you got to win one game you shouldn't win to win a national title. Carolina's already done that.
Yeah.
They've already done that. You could say Duke's done it when they were down 5 to Michigan State.
That was
Carolina or Baylor. Whoever won that game would have said, we won a game we shouldn't have because both teams had stretches where they played great and both teams looked really bad at times.
I'm not saying either one of those teams did win. Don't translate and say saying they did win a game they shouldn't have. I'm just saying you could look at it that way for both both Duke against Michigan State and for Carolina.
Well, Carolina probably feels like they should have won that game by 20.
Right,
they should have. Yeah.
But here's the thing: did they ever fall behind?
I don't think so.
I think Baylor sent it to overtime, but I don't know if Baylor ever led.
No, they tied it with about 20 seconds left. And Carolina missed their last shot.
And I don't think Baylor led in overtime.
That's when Styles hit a 3 to start overtime. And no, Baylor never took the lead.
That's weird to go have an overtime game. It happens every now and then where one team, if they led in the game at all, I don't even think that wasn't it like 7-0 or something, or I don't know. No, that was the St. Peter's game, 7-0 to start.
Yeah, Baylor might have had the lead in the first minute or two. I'm not sure, but that would have been it.
Right. All right, we're going to talk about that more and more, obviously, but let's take a look at some of the high school baseball action. A lot of games played this past week. Not only did most teams play a couple conference games, but also a lot of teams had a Wednesday or Thursday non-conference games scheduled as well. We did 3 broadcasts this week on WLON, so got to see a lot of high school baseball in the area. Oh, this is not good. This is not good at all. Max Preps for yesterday's scores. Let's see. What's it doing?
Available?
Oh, never mind. never mind. I went back to yesterday, and somehow it got back on Saturday. So it's amazing now that I think about it, how many Saturday games there are scheduled on here for today. Beautiful weather today. How about a slugfest to start with? Mountain Heritage defeated Mitchell County yesterday, 18-13.
And that's not April Fool's.
Well, I don't think it is. I don't think that would be posted on here if it was April Fool's. You never know. Madison beat Avery County 17-5. Garner over South Garner 4-3. Drone over Rosman 15-3. Do you guys know Drone and Rosman is a conference game?
Wow. How did
I
Drone
think it
get
is.
in that conference?
I think that is a conference game.
Wow.
I don't even know where Rosman
Go
is,
west, young
Jack.
man.
Yeah. Head west. Keep
That's all I can
going
do.
west.
Tell me if I'm wrong on that, Butch. Isn't that a conference game, Drone and Rosman? Cardinal Gibbons defeated Enloe out of Raleigh last night by a score of 13 to nothing. Forest Hills over Monroe 15-0. Leesville Road over Broughton 6-3. Rollsville over Millbrook out of Raleigh 11-7. A lot of runs scored in that contest as well. Allegheny 9, North Stokes 5. Robbinsville and Swain County, no score to report. I will say this, though, about Swain County. Did you guys see the forest fires going on this week in Swain County? You know, I don't know if they ever got them under control or not, but not good.
No.
A place I like to visit. South Granville 15, Vance County nothing. South Granville baseball and softball always good on a state level, not just locally, but always good on a state level. Apex Friendship beat Panther Creek. I'm pretty sure that was the girls' basketball, or maybe one girls' team was good, one boys' team went deep in basketball. I know Apex Friendship lost the girls' championship game to Chambers.
Yeah, and I think Panther Creek lost the men's championship.
Championship. Okay, championship.
I think that's who Weddington beat.
I believe you're right in the 4A. Apex wins the baseball game yesterday, 16-7. Fuquay, always good baseball, 15-0 over Willow Spring yesterday. Cherokee loses to Murphy, 9-5. New Hanover out of Wilmington, we know about their success. New Hanover over Chapel Hill High, 10-0. Christ the King over Langtree Charter, 4-3. I give you that one because it's in Lincoln Charter's conference. Thomas Jefferson and Shelby, no score from yesterday. Let's see. Lincoln Charter a winner over Pine Lake Prep.
Well, are they still?
No.
No.
I was just getting ready to say, Mike, Lincoln Charter earlier this week lost their first game to Pine Lake Prep.
Okay.
At home. Yesterday they go on the road and beat Pine Lake Prep 3-1. So that evens those two teams up at the top of the conference standings. And you know what the name of that conference is?
That's entirely made up of charter schools, right?
Yeah. You know, we're in the Catawba Valley.
Yeah.
Here in the 2A teams are.
Yes.
That is the Catawba Shores Athletic Conference.
Okay.
Catawba Shores.
All the schools are near the lake, right? No,
There goes Mike with geography again.
Yeah. That's
I would say
another
so.
area of trivia.
I would say at least the majority of the schools are around Lake Norman for sure. Let's see. Heidi Trask 11, West Columbus 1, Olympic over Berry Academy 19-4. There's a second score for Monroe and Forest Hills, and it's different. This one says 11-0.
Yeah.
Trying to find more in the West. Mount Airy 12, Starmount 8 yesterday in high school baseball action. Ashe County and South Caldwell, no score reported. Wow. North Mac and West Mac played no score. Missing score on High Brighton and Alexander Central. I will say this about Alexander Central. They handed non-conference opponent St. Stephen's their first loss of the season this week. Alexander Central beat them 2-1 in a very well-pitched game. And Butch says, yes, sir, it is. Drone versus Rosman is a conference game. Freedom beat Watauga 5-3. Hickory over Statesville. 3 touchdowns, made all the extra point kicks, 21-1 in that contest. Asheville over Inca 8-0. R.J. Reynolds 5. Winston-Salem Glen or Kernersville Glen 2. Both cities like to claim them. Davie County over Mount Tabor 12-2. Game I saw last night along with Mike Powell, we broadcast here on WLON. North Lincoln holds on against East Lincoln 6-3 last night. East Lincoln now 3 losses in conference play.
4-3.
And going to have a hard time overcoming that 3-game deficit.
Pretty much going to have to win out and hope for
some help.
Yep.
This game went back and forth last night, but once North Lincoln got the last lead, they went up 6-3 there in the late innings. East loaded the bases in the 7th. Had their man up at the plate, Garrett Michelle, probably the state leader in home runs because
10.
he's got 10. I can't imagine anybody's got more than that. And they struck out swinging. They had their man up there with a chance last night.
He represented the go-ahead run.
Yes, he did.
And the relief pitcher was Matt Havner for the Knights.
Who played some really good at shortstop. And really North Lincoln got a really well-pitched game out of Landon Reeves,
he was solid.
Yep.
And I guess he just ran out of the pitch count. But anyway, Matt Havner came in to face that one batter, tough situation, righty on lefty, and did a great job of,
got ahead in the count. He got ahead, and I think that was the key.
And what a great job of clutch relief to retire a dangerous hitter that could have changed the game with one swing.
Mm-hmm. There was something else I was going to mention about that game. Now it slipped my mind, but North Lincoln's playing really good baseball. Don't overlook that team because that baseball team only has one loss on the season, and that one loss was to undefeated St. Stephen's. And of course they'll get to play them again.
Well, now, David, this seems like a veteran team to me. I mean, I know the guy Havner's a senior. He's been playing since he was a freshman. You do have a first-year head coach in Charlie Goss, but my guess is they got a lot of guys back from last year too, probably. I don't know, but
I
think
like
a veteran team.
Well, I know what I was going to say. There was one home run in the game. It was Isaac Armstrong who had 3 hits.
He did
last
3 for
night.
4.
East Lincoln. He actually pitched in relief as well, and pitched good for East. But he is headed to East Carolina. He's going to play his college baseball at East Carolina. There were a lot of Division I guys in that game last night.
Well played game. Enjoyed that.
My anonymous baseball source says I heard the North Lincoln East Lincoln rivalry game was well officiated with a thumbs up. Now, I thought it was well officiated, so I don't know if he is saying this sarcastically. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, but he's got a thumbs up. But now,
our problem was
our volume was, and we couldn't see great the way they got the stadium set up. Now it's changed.
We couldn't see down the lines well.
But I don't remember many. I thought the balls and strikes was very consistent.
It seemed that way.
It was tight.
Yeah,
I thought, but it was both ways. It was very consistent, and I don't remember any coaches on the field arguing anything.
I don't remember any controversial calls or plays necessarily.
Yep. I'm thinking my anonymous source. Well, I'm not going to say. I'll tell you later. I think it was a very well officiated game, and I think I
know who your anonymous source may be.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out in a little bit. I don't know who it is because it pops up on my phone, an anonymous source. How about that? You like that? That's great. Anonymous source. That's how I got him labeled. North Lincoln does get the win, and that's a big win for them in that rivalry. They will go to East Lincoln in the final regular season game of the year. I'll tell you what, this is going to be one tremendous conference tournament when they get to that point. Is it not?
Yeah.
I mean, there's 4 teams out of the 8.
That are clearly good.
Yeah, that could win that tournament. That's for sure. Ardrey Kell beat South Meck 3-2. It was let's see, Lake Norman over Hickory Ridge 7-5. I don't even want to give that one.
Oh no.
Leadership Academy. They beat Carver 19-0. Bunker Hill in 10 innings last night outlasted Langston. They get a run in the bottom of the 10th. They beat the Wolves last night in conference play 2-1. Yes, it is. And what that does is give Bandy's now a 2-game lead in conference play because Bandy's defeated West Lincoln last night by a score of 11-1. Bandy's Let me think a minute. Yeah, it should be a 2-game lead. I don't have the standings right in front of me, but I think they're 2 games ahead of Lincoln and maybe 3 ahead of West in those standings.
Are we now through the first round of the CVAC? I mean, it'll be
last night started the second
round.
In that one. Last night started the second round of conference action.
So Bandy's starting to assert itself.
They are. Whiteville beat East Columbus 12-2. It was Northwest Guilford over Northern Guilford. I'd hate to broadcast that one.
Yeah.
7-5. No score on Ashbrook and North Gaston. North Stanley beat East Davidson 3-2. It was South Stokes over East Wilkes 6-3. East Rutherford with a huge win last night in high school baseball.
Ooh.
Who do you think they beat last night?
RS
I know
Central.
you're reading them.
I'm reading them.
Maybe Brad is too.
RS?
They did
No,
beat-
I mean that would be the biggest win in that conference, I would think.
They beat RS Central last night by a score of 7-1. So big win for Drew Reynolds and the East Rutherford Cavaliers. Newton Conover beat West Caldwell 3-2 last night. Brevard over Patton. Another conference matchup, Brevard and Patton. That one's not quite the distance. Not quite, I don't think, of going to Rosman. Like you said, though, where's Rosman?
I've always wondered where Rosman is.
I've been to Brevard. Been to Brevard a couple times, so I know where it is.
Yeah.
Transylvania County, in case you're wondering.
Oh.
11-6 over Patton last night in that game. Southwestern Randolph 5, Eastern Randolph 4. Person over Northwood 8-2. Mike, no score on your Cape Fear team there.
Darn it.
No score
Max
on-
Cady is waiting.
No score on Forest View Kings Mountain. We got Carson falling to East Rowan 5-0. Parkwood over Central Academy 11-1. Forbush over North Surrey 9-1. St. Stephen's Falls to Fred T.
Ooh.
Ford. So that tightens things up. North Lincoln
does.
now tied for first
Tied for
place.
first.
in
And that helps
conference.
East Lincoln in a way.
It does. Fred T. Ford 2-1 over St. Stephen's. So St. Stephen's went down as undefeated twice this week. They lost one a non-conference game
Forgettable
and
week
wants
for
to
the
rival
Indians.
Ford. And yes, that really tightens the standings up. Now it might be a 3-way tie for first.
It is.
Because Ford, I don't think they've lost but one.
They've lost one.
Yeah, in conference play, and that was to North Lincoln. Let's see. No score on some. No report on some of these.
Drawn to Rosman says an hour and 54 minutes.
That's a long ride.
That is.
That's a long ride for a conference game. Think about that on a Tuesday. Tuesday night late for basketball.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Farmville Central beat Washington 10-1. No, it's not basketball. Porter Ridge 7, Cuthbertson nothing. Lee County 3-2 over Pinecrest. Maiden 2-1 last night. Gets the conference win over East Burke. Let's see. East Forsyth 19, Parkwood nothing. Hunter Huss falls to Kramer 14-0. Polk County over Chase 5-2 in high school baseball. Another conference game, but those are neighboring counties, so not too bad there. And Polk's been in that conference with the Rutherfords quite often. So West Stanley beat Anson 11-1. North Pitt over Southwest Edgecombe 1-0. Walkertown over McMichael 7-5. Trinity over Providence Grove 8-2. 11-1. Already give you that one. Bandy's beating West Lincoln last night. Dudley over Northeast Guilford 9-5. No score on Highland Tech and East Gaston. Providence Day beats Charlotte Latin 11-4. Moorhead over T.W. Andrews 19-1. Southern Alamance over Western Alamance 13-1. South Columbus over Pender 14-1. And that's pretty much going to run down.
Hey, will somebody give me the Cherville Burns score?
Oh, I got it. Cherville fell to Burns.
Ooh.
Yep.
Tell me it ain't so.
I thought I
Joe.
told you that one before.
But before last night?
Before we
left.
departed the ballpark last night.
I don't remember.
Yep. They it was Cherville led. We know that.
3-2.
Yep. Well, they tied it. Went to 8 innings, and Burns won 4-3. Freshman Colby Putnam with the win came in relief in the 3rd inning, finished the game. Hahn for Cherville had 3 hits in his leadoff spot for Cherville in that in a losing situation.
Well, that's 2 games that the Ironmen have dropped to Burns this week, so Burns looking like they may be the team in that conference.
Okay, this is interesting right here, and we're going to take another timeout as soon as I complete this. Maiden High School is hosting a state 3D archery match today with over 70 shooters from high school teams. I've never heard of a state 3D archery. I really haven't. I'm not state, but I've never heard of a 3D archery match. But that sounds pretty interesting to me. So that means Butch is not serving as the target. That's what I wanted to make sure. It's a 3D. It's a 3D target. I'm guessing. He said very interesting, and his line says very interesting. It starts at 10. Yeah, in high school that don't bother me too bad. What worries me before we go to break is all these intoxicated adults throwing hatchets at some of these places. You seen this?
The axe
the
throwing.
Axe throw, yeah, a little short. I mean, let somebody stay in there for a couple hours and then start throwing axes. I don't know if I want to be in there.
Yeah,
don't know if I want to be in a place like that where axes.
Like having a shooting range with a bar in it.
Yeah, don't want that either.
I can get out of hand in a hurry. Oh man, we'll take a time out. Appreciate you tuning in this morning. Back in a moment.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. At Stifel Nicholas, we're committed to offering investors personalized investment guidance. We're a full-service organization with departments staffed with professionals that specialize in a wide range of investment opportunities, from the most conservative to the most aggressive. We strive to give each account, regardless of size, careful, individual attention. Call Fort Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times.
you guys had no idea. No idea Mike Powell could play the guitar that well this early in the morning.
Yeah, I learned that those riffs from Jimmy Page.
Yeah. Sounds a little like
What's
it.
up?
Yes.
We're going to go back. Let me
Bailey.
tell you a quick story.
Just wait. Just wait the break.
No. Your audience would like it.
Oh,
Bob Dylan
okay.
was in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Ovens.
Yeah, he knows.
Did you go?
I went the last time he was here.
The guy that sells me a Mooresville went. He said he didn't play any songs that anybody would know.
Huh.
He didn't play any of his old standards and stuff. Looked very frail.
Yeah.
No way.
He's 80-something. Yeah.
Well, when I was there
Laney's talking
a few
about Bob
years
Dylan
ago,
in Charlotte.
he played most of his hits,
This week or last night?
but he plays them.
Tuesday night.
He plays them with the band. It's nothing like the way he recorded them originally.
Yeah.
It's not really like a folk song. It's more like a it's.
Yeah, I saw him in 2017 in Columbia. He's into a different phase.
This was at Ovens. So
Yeah.
you can tell. But you
Yeah,
can
that's
tell
where I
in
saw
the
him.
That's
setting.
Yeah.
I guess it was around 2019 when I saw him.
Yeah, I mean, he played a few of those classic tunes from the '60s, like "Blowing in the Wind," but no, it's a different set.
Brett got his picture made with him in Gatlinburg.
Couldn't.
What, Gatlinburg
The Wax
Picture
Museum.
Forward? Yeah, it's the Wax
Yeah.
Museum. Very lifelike.
Oh yeah, they do. They look very real.
I think in recent years he's been more into that American song bag, American standards. Some of those like crooner tunes. He does a lot of those. Dylan never stands still. I mean, if you expect him to come out and play all those '60s protest songs, he's not going to do that.
Give us a good Dylan trivia question. Anybody got one? I don't.
Oh,
What's his
Trivia.
real last name?
Zimmerman, right? Robert
Yep.
Zimmerman.
There you go. Good. I like it. What's my real last name? Anybody know? Does anybody care? Oh, Lord, we're going to mention a couple things. Bailey Huss, Chloe Norman, West Lincoln playing state championship doubles tournament today. Good luck to them. A huge win last night for West Lincoln softball. They beat Bandy's, the top team in the conference standings, by a score of 6-1 last night in that game. West Lincoln trailed till the fourth inning, 1-0, and then they get 2 in the fourth, 3 in the fifth, another in the sixth, an insurance run to win that game 6-1. 6 runs, 10 hits for West Lincoln, 1 run, 8 hits for Bandy's. It was a 4-for-4 night last night for Elmore for West Lincoln. 4-for-4 night at the plate. She had almost half of the Rebels hits. Bailey Huss with 2 hits herself and a pair of RBIs.
Bailey
from
Huss.
Amelia.
I wonder if she's related to Haley Huss, the fine softball player for West Lincoln in the early 90s. Played on state runner-up team, pitched.
I would be shocked to learn she's not.
That's what I'm thinking.
So, right?
Yeah. Best West Lincoln softball team in history, 1992, I believe it was.
Well, Butch has made me feel a little bit better. At least this 3D archery takes place outdoors.
Well, that's good.
Which I figured it did. It said it's sponsored by the North Carolina Wildlife
Commission. Yeah.
in conjunction with the NCHSAA. And then, okay, I was asking Butch another question. He confirmed with me the answer that I did not expect. So, good morning to some of our listeners this morning, Butch, Alan Chapman, Chris Meeks. I always like to say hi to Lenny, Rodney Willis. I not sure Rodney's rolled out of bed yet because hadn't heard anything from. Well, it's West Lincoln's west of here, where Rodney lives, might be in a different time zone.
It could be.
Since not as far as Rosman, but it's still west of here. So we'll see it. We'll see if I'll get a sarcastic remark in a minute if he's awake this morning. But it's a lot going on, man. I tell you what, sports wise, just a lot going on around. Not just locally here with all these
think
races
about it,
heating up.
We're so close to the tradition like no other, too. That's coming up.
You're right, Mike. We are. Major League Baseball gets started this week.
I was thinking about another game played with a smaller ball.
Another tradition, right?
It's not this week, is it?
The Masters.
No, baseball.
I thought baseball started the 7th.
It does. April 7th.
It's the 7th?
Yep.
Okay. I thought it was like in the teens.
No,
okay.
No.
I knew it was
April
pushed back.
7th. Yeah.
So it only got pushed back by about a week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
About a week.
Well, they reduced spring training games
Mm-hmm.
pretty much to keep it, so they wouldn't. And they're
That
still
just
going to
means
play.
when they
they're still gonna
start,
play the same amount of games.
pitchers are only going to go about 4 innings on average, I would think, starting pitchers.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't want to overthrow them.
didn't have as much prep time.
Yep. And well, it is April. You never know what kind of weather you're going to get. Some of these games we could still see some snowstorms at some of these games. Throughout, when Minnesota plays at home, when Detroit plays at home, some of those venues could get snow outs as they so often do. Hard to believe. I don't know why it's hard to believe. It's just hard to believe that we've already made it to April. Seems like obviously as you get older,
April comes, she will.
Mike done got me just all confused over.
Well, that's yeah.
Didn't we just talk about that last
knows.
week?
Brett knows.
Who did we talk about it or just
Simon and Garfunkel?
Yeah,
just
Simon and
song.
Garfunkel song.
Okay, got you. I got you.
Yeah, it's a
I
song
knew I'd
that
heard
kind-
it, and I
yeah.
already
It's a
forgot.
song that kind of goes through
how
the
and where I heard
seasons.
it.
Very pretty song.
I heard Mike ask Brett this question, and we won't stay on it but just a second. But this was before we went on, or actually Lanny asked Brett this question. It wasn't Mike. Will the Lakers make the playoffs? And Brett said either
Playoffs?
nah or no or so on the outside looking in right now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They needed to beat New Orleans last night, and they didn't. They can't beat anybody right now.
So they're a half game behind San Antonio.
Yeah.
How many to play?
With 5 to play.
5? Wow. It is. That's 2 weeks, though, right? Two more this week,
Yeah,
coming week,
probably.
and then a 3-game maybe to close it out, and then
I get the feeling Brett doesn't really want them in the playoffs this year.
It doesn't matter. I mean,
Right.
if they make the play-in scenario, they probably won't win and make the actual playoffs. So
Right.
it just doesn't matter.
Right.
just reading a few things here before we get into basketball so much, and I don't know what this cornerback Howard for the Dolphins, a new historic new deal. Every time a deal pops up, it's a historic new deal in the NFL. Now I don't know. I'm a little confused at how you're going to have quality players at at least the starting 22 positions, on your football team with the kind of money that they're paying people.
Quarterbacks.
Well, I didn't say quarterback. I said corner.
Corner, yeah.
Cornerback. So just but you know what? That's up to them to run those franchises and make them say, who did the Rams sign this week? They signed another big time Bobby Wagner.
Yep.
I'm sure that contract wasn't cheap. So I'm going to guess
doubt
that
it.
the Rams are paying probably 10 guys on that roster 70 to 80% of the salary that they're paying out. Wouldn't you think so? That about 10 of them are really bringing in the money, and the rest of them are just minimum contracts or close to it. That's for sure. Lenny said, when I worked at East Gaston, the girls' basketball coach's wife said I live 2 countries away. So Rodney lives about 2 countries, and that's not counties, 2 countries away. Yeah. And he might be busy this morning. He either is still asleep or hadn't
He must live up around Toluca.
Or he might be typing me a long
be.
insult or something. Who knows what it may be at this point. All right, guys. Final Four gets underway today around 6 o'clock. Is that right? First game at it's not even listed on my
6:09
screen here. 6:09 is the first game between Villanova and Kansas. Very interesting to know. Villanova is going to its 6th Final Four, but don't let just the number 6 fool you. I mean, Jay Wright has been consistent with Final Fours since he has taken over the program. going to their 6th Final Four. Kansas, their 16th. Duke, their 17th. North Carolina, all-time on top in Final Fours with their 21st appearance today. How many Final Fours did John Wooden go to?
Well, he won 10 championships. I think it was won 10 out of 12. I think he went 12. I could be wrong.
12 is what I saw whenever I did a little bit of research on
but he won
the
10.
Final Fours.
So.
He did win 10, which means he lost to NC State one year in the semis.
Who else did he lose to?
There you go. That's what I want to
know.
There you go.
He did go to 12.
Yeah.
But who in the world would he have lost to?
And how many has UCLA won since the Wooden era? How many? I know one, but is that all? I know the Tyus Edney.
Jim Herrick was the coach. Is that it?
For some reason I thought they won one in between Wooden and that, but maybe I'm wrong. It's just for some reason it just seems like too big of a gap, and but
yeah.
No, that was it.
Is it okay?
They won it. 75 was their last.
That was Wooden's last year,
and then 95. There's only one since then.
So Coach K has a chance to do what Wooden did. Wooden retired after his team beat Kentucky in 75 for the title.
Yeah. Earlier you talking about Gino and his record in those championship games. I mean, once he gets there, he's almost. And Lenny says it was just one. The championship games for Wooden, he was phenomenal. Never lost one. So the other time he went in the Final Four, he lost in the round of 4.
Yep.
He didn't get to the title game. Gino has been almost automatic as well, or has been automatic, right? When he gets there, 11-0 in title games.
I want to think that his only other loss in the Final Four came in the 1966 season. Was that the year Texas Western defeated Kentucky for the title? I'm not sure.
66. I'm looking. Y'all keep going.
Okay. The reason I ask this, I'm going to get into some of the coaches here and some of the history. Did Roy Williams help me with? I don't have his in front of me. His final his championship record. Is he 3-1 in championships?
Well, you got to go back to Kansas. Of course, he lost to.
I want them all.
Lost to Duke in '91
in the championship.
Was that Roy coaching that one?
Yep.
91.
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
Yep. He was coach of the job.
Now, when Syracuse won it with Carmelo, was it Kansas that they beat in the title?
That could be true too.
I think it was. I think they beat Kansas in the title.
Okay. So
Roy never won.
So you're making.
So he was 3-3.
3-3.
I think.
Okay, because I was just.
And he lost to Villanova with
Carolina.
With Carolina.
With Carolina.
Yep. So that's the only one that I registered in my head. I'd forgot the other.
I wasn't sure if he was there yet in '91 at Kansas,
yes.
but so he took over. They won it in '88 with Larry Brown.
But then Larry left.
And Roy Williams. Roy was the next coach at Kansas.
Yeah.
Okay. Jason says he's 3-2 in championships. He lost in '91 and '03. Now he changed it to 3-3 because I guess you reminded him of the Syracuse game. Is that
Villanova
right?
over Carolina. That's the one Jason was leaving out.
Okay. What about okay, so he had the Syracuse one in there.
He lost to Syracuse.
I can't even remember that game.
Yeah, it was Carmelo Anthony was a freshman,
best
player in the country. They beat
for some reason
Kansas
that
had
one just slipped my mind, and I don't know why.
Was Kirk Heinrich.
And Roy was coaching that Kansas team.
So 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kansas had knocked Duke out that year.
That's right.
J.J. Redick, Chris Duhon.
Well, Duke went to 4 straight Final Fours under K, and of course didn't win it. And everybody was started to talk about, well, he can't
1962 Final Four, UCLA lost.
Oh.
In '62, the Final Four they lost.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wake Forest.
Would that have been
Wake Forest was in it?
Cincinnati or Loyola?
Cincinnati beat UCLA. Ohio State beat Wake Forest.
Okay.
And then Cincinnati beat Ohio State.
Right.
Yeah, Lenny also says Roy 3-3, but he put I think in front of it. The reason I did is because some of these guys aren't. I mean, you'd think more, but like Roy was 3-3, Dean Smith was 5-6 in Final Four games, national championships. He was 2-4. Now I was trying to remember who North Carolina's losses were to under Dean, and obviously I remember Marquette and I remember Indiana.
He also got blitzed by one of those UCLA teams.
Okay,
with,
UCLA was
Walt Hazard, Gail Goodrich.
Okay, so that one goes way back.
Yeah.
Well, who's the fourth one?
Yeah.
For some reason, and I know these guys will know that follow it so closely, but I cannot remember who is. If he's 2-4, you know,
you're talking about the national title
in
games.
national title games. Yes.
Well, of course, he lost to Indiana in '81.
I said that
Bobby
one.
Knight said that one.
Of course, yes.
Al McGuire in '77.
Not Bobby Knight, Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah. Al McGuire in '77.
Right. I got that one.
Okay.
I'm looking for the one I didn't mention. Somebody help me out here. Who did Dean Smith lose to? We got UCLA. We got Marquette. I think this is the order. UCLA, Marquette.
No, Indiana before Marquette.
UCLA, no. Marquette's 77, Indiana's 81.
UCLA was in the 60s.
Yeah. So UCLA, Marquette, Indiana, and it had to be one after that, right?
Yeah.
In a title game.
4, yeah.
Help me, guys.
He was runner-up in '68.
Have I stumped everybody?
That would have been UCLA?
Yes.
I'm guessing.
Let me find another. Runner-up in '77. That would have been
Marquette.
Marquette. Al McGuire's finale.
Runner-up in '81. Because then he won it in '82.
That's right.
Yeah, '81
was
Indiana.
Indiana.
That was Indiana.
Mm-hmm. That was the day that Reagan was shot.
It was.
Same day. The game was that night.
Mm-hmm. They played it anyway.
And I cannot remember. It had him listed here as 2-4, but I cannot put my hand on it. And it don't look like the other guy, the Carolina guys, can either. I'm not getting anything from Jason or Lenny.
Wow, that's astounding.
On who that fourth.
They don't even know their team's own history.
Well, I mean, maybe something was wrong. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe he only coached in 5 title games.
I can't think of who else.
I don't see another one.
I don't think he did.
Okay. What I looked up yesterday had him listed as 2-4, and okay. How did he go 5-6 in semifinal games?
So he had to be there 5 times.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. So that tells you that's it. He was 2-3, not 2-4.
That's right.
2-3 because he won 2 titles.
Yeah.
He did win 2 titles. He beat Georgetown and Michigan.
That's right.
Were his 2 championships.
83 and 93, 10 years of 82 and 93, 11 years apart.
Yep. It just goes to show you it's not easy to win when you get there.
No,
because
it's not.
the legendary Dean Smith went to 11 and won twice.
Very hard to win it.
It is. It is hard to win it. The odds are still against you when you get there.
And one thing, you only have, one day to prepare after the semis, even if you get in the championship game. So, yeah, it's just such a gauntlet to run. So hard to do.
Lenny says Roy went to the Final Four 9 times. He's been the head coach of 9 Final Four teams.
Pretty amazing.
It is, especially with being 2 different programs too. Yep, 9 appearances for him. It is Krzyzewski's 13th trip.
Yeah.
13th trip to the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was going to tell you earlier, let's see. Jason says this year's Final Four will also be called Bill Guthridge Final Four. Hubert Davis is the first. I won't call it the Bill Guthridge Final Four. You might. Hubert Davis is the first coach to make the Final Four in the first season as a head coach since Guthridge did in '98. And I'm just joking with him. Coach K is the first coach to make the Final Four in the final season since Guthridge. So I can see that. It's all related to Guthridge, and I was just picking.
What year did Hubie Davis make the Final Four with Carolina? That's what I want to know.
Would that have been the early 90s?
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm sure Jason or Lenny will know that. Krzyzewski is 5-4 in title games.
Not bad.
You know,
91. 91 Final Four, Hubert Davis.
91?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that when Carolina also had Vince? No, it wasn't Vince Carter. No.
I think he was later on.
Yeah, he was more like 97, 98.
Yeah, that's right.
Jason's got you with the 91.
Yeah.
with Hubert.
91, they also had George Lynch.
Oh, yeah, Lynch.
Rick Fox.
Right.
John Wooden, 12 Final Four appearances. So Krzyzewski passes him as a coach.
Yeah.
However, Wooden won 10 of those.
He did.
As a head coach. 10 championships. Krzyzewski, we just said, is 5-4 in title games. And what I told you, you talked about Gino a little bit ago being mediocre in the semis, but if he gets there, he's going to win it. Krzyzewski's kind of the opposite. Do you know what his Final Four?
It's not that great.
His Final Four record's not that great? Nah, 9-3. Not
Is
that
it
great.
that good?
9-3 in
was.
semis,
Okay.
including 8 of the last 9.
Okay.
He's won 8 of the last 9
Yeah,
semi games.
I guess I'm remembering those 4 straight Final Fours he made, like late 80s, when he had Danny Ferry, that bunch.
Well, he lost 2. He lost to Seton Hall.
Yeah.
And who was the other?
Kansas.
Lost to Kansas.
Yeah.
I
He
can't
lost
remember.
to Danny Manning in the Miracles. Yeah. That's a singing group.
The other one was in 2004. They lost to UConn in the semifinal.
Oh, yeah.
Hubert was on the team, Jason says, when Dean was ejected from the game in that loss to
91,
Kansas. Yeah, the
Was he?
semifinal
Okay.
game was
Does anybody remember where that was played? Indianapolis, I believe.
Indianapolis or Minneapolis.
Hmm.
I don't know. Hadn't Duke won 2 titles in Minneapolis? That's the only reason it came to mind.
thought
North
that-
Carolina's won 2 in New Orleans.
Yeah, I thought Duke had won 2 in Indianapolis. I could be wrong.
You may be right. I don't know. I don't know the
Well,
sites
91 and
that well.
92, I think that those were the 2 sites. I don't know what the order was.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Indianapolis, Minneapolis. Is there another Apples they can go play in? Maybe they need to play in the Appleses.
I think it was Indianapolis in 91. I know somebody who was there. But he was there to see Carolina, not to see Duke.
I'm gonna ask you, and I'm not saying this just because it's Coach K, but this is a stat that I want you guys, and I want Carolina guys to weigh in. Do you think we'll ever see this again? Krzyzewski. This is one that really got 13 trips in 42 years. That's 31%, which basically 1 out of every 3 years his team's going to the Final Four.
Yeah.
That seems pretty high. My question is, do you think we'll see that again in college basketball, or is there more parity now? Or it's hard, there's you got all these mid majors. Let's not forget these mid majors. It's
Yeah.
capable of
Yeah,
pulling
well,
upsets.
Coach K was going at a
more
much
so
higher
now.
rate.
He was early
in his
on.
career.
Yes, a much higher rate.
Oh,
early
yeah,
on.
yeah.
But it's still 31%, which is kind of.
In the last 12 years, this is only his 3rd one.
Yeah. I mean, they've
But still, 31% is almost 1 out of every 3 for the 42-year period.
Yeah.
And, I mean, first of all, you probably
I
want
don't
to see a
think we're
guy
going to
coach
see
42
somebody
years
at one school. Yeah,
That
I don't
long.
think we'll
well,
see that.
just in the last decade or so, he went in 2010. Of course, they won it. They won it in 2015, and he's there this year. So that's what 3 and 12 years. So
Yeah, that's this day and time in the age of what they want to call parity, even though we've got 4 teams in the Final Four that have been there recently this year, But I still think it'd be hard to eclipse 31% over the long haul.
yeah.
You might. I mean, I would say right now, Jay Wright's at Villanova, his percentage is probably higher than that.
Well, if anybody's going to do it, maybe it could be Jay Wright. He's in his 50s. Figure he's still got a good run left in him.
Jason makes a good point here. Tom Izzo is the one guy that has he's not got the titles to show for it. He's only won 1.
He's got the Final Fours.
He said he's got a streak going wherever a 4-year player that's played for him over a certain period of time here has played in the Final Four, at least one Final Four.
He's been consistent.
Consistently gets there, but I feel bad for him. It shows you, once again, just like we said when we started the segment, how hard it is to win it once you get there. I mean, he's been to 9 Final Fours. Is that right, Izzo? And won 1 time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a failure or success?
To me, getting to the Final Four is the promised land.
Yeah.
I mean, anything after that.
A good program or a great program? I mean, I think great.
I think he's a great coach.
He don't have the
Because
talent.
I think they usually overachieve when they get to those Final Fours.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
And he does have a title.
He does have one.
I mean, yeah, I think he's a great coach.
He didn't
one more
send
with
a lot
the
of
icing on
guys
the
to
cake.
the league, but his teams are consistently good.
He has a lot of teams with one NBA player.
Yeah, one.
Instead of 4.
Multiple, like Duke has had lately.
Jason says, including this season, the last 6 years, Carolina and Villanova have been 3 times.
Yeah.
And see, that's hard to do.
Oh yeah.
That's hard to do, and it's hard to maintain and keep that streak alive because, for the main reason is, it's not about play when you meet up with the blue bloods in this tournament. But I think avoiding the lower seeds knocking you out of the tournament.
Yeah.
It may be harder at some point now.
But for all the talk about mid-major success, and it does happen, but it's always in the earlier rounds, isn't it? I mean,
90% of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we hadn't seen.
We have blue bloods today,
unless you consider UNLV. We haven't seen one win the national championship in 50 years, right? So, 40 or 50 years.
I would have to, but that UNLV team was not
we didn't
thought of
consider
as a
them,
mid-major.
We didn't consider them that way when they had the powerhouse teams. That's for sure.
With Larry Johnson and
even back
Augman.
in the 70s, though, Mike, when they were really good. I didn't look at them that way. I don't even think we ever used the term mid-major.
At
that time.
all
at
in
that
the 70s, as I recall.
Yep. This sets up to be one of the best, best Final Fours. I wouldn't be shocked whichever team comes out on top.
Not at all.
Of the 4. Does it take away from Villanova a little bit, losing one of their key players?
Maybe.
But
I mean, could they could win a game, but could they win 2 games?
But then again, you use that kind of as a rallying cry, right? And
could be.
Rally around the troops. Next man up. So many teams use that this day and time. So I just don't quite know. I don't quite know how to take. I wonder which game today will be the closest down the stretch. Will they both be nail biters and come down to the final minute? Will one of them be a double-digit win? Both of them are capable of being double-digit wins, just because the team that's hot could pull away.
Yeah, I mean, Duke's playing at a very high level offensively, but I saw where they're ranked only 67th in the country in defensive efficiency. Carolina's playing great both ways, both offense and defense right now.
I think all 4 teams capable of winning. It just comes down to who's making shots.
Yeah,
out of all 4 teams, it comes down to who can knock down shots at critical times.
I do think the Duke-Carolina game will be entertaining from an offensive standpoint. I mean, the other 2 matchups, even though they weren't that close, were still high-scoring games.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kansas did score 47 in the second half, right?
Yeah, they did.
Against Miami after they did not look good at all.
They were down
in the first half.
By 6 at the half.
Yeah, but they came out scorching hot to open what we'll refer to as the third quarter. But they did come out.
How many points
hot.
was it?
I think a lot of that came from their defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they really turned up the defense in the second half, and that created a lot of easy points.
Yep.
So one championship for Bill Self, right? That was 08, I guess, and they beat Memphis and Calipari.
I'll say this. Here's my thought on and then we're going to take our final time out. But to me, it looks like if you just stood there and looked at the teams, out of the 4 teams, Kansas looks like the most talent.
Mm-hmm.
But they always struggle with North Carolina and Duke.
Yeah, historically.
I'd like to see their record against North Carolina and Duke because it hasn't been that great.
No.
It has not been that great, especially when they meet in the tournament.
Are you talking about going all the way back?
It seems like it to me, yeah.
Kansas history.
Yeah. It just seems
well,
like
remember the famous, was that for the championship or in the Final Four when the 57 Carolina team beat Kansas and Wilt Chamberlain to go undefeated?
Well, maybe I'm wrong about Carolina.
Frank McGuire.
Well, I know Carolina did win that one, but I know that, they did. Kansas did beat Dean in the Final Four in his last game. I know, but it just seems like overall
they've beat Duke
even
a couple
when they play
times
early
in the tournament.
Yeah,
I remember the Grayson Allen shot that rimmed out a few years ago where Kansas beat them in the Elite Eight.
I remember that. I didn't even remember that was Kansas, but
and
maybe I'm wrong.
I think that was an overtime game.
I didn't look it up.
Yeah, it was.
It just seems like they've struggled. With
and they also beat
Duke
when they on their way to the Final Four that year with Collison and Kirk Heinrich. I think that was J.J.
Well,
Redick's freshman year.
Didn't the Danny Manning-led Kansas team beat Duke in the semifinal one year in the 80s?
Yeah.
88?
I expect them. I expect Kansas.
Them and
for
Duke are
whatever reason,
probably
to
a
have
little more even than them and Carolina. I think Carolina's got a
more
pretty
wins
decent
over.
advantage over Kansas.
Yeah.
The one I remember most is when Kansas beat them in that 08 Final Four. They just blew them out from the start.
Oh, yeah.
I might be
And then the
thinking
next
about
night-
some of these early season matchups when they play each other in some of these showcase games, and it seems like Duke and Carolina's got the best of Kansas in most of those matches, But those aren't tournament; those aren't NCAA tournament games. So, all right, we're going to take a timeout. Here's real quick. UNC's been to a Final Four 9 consecutive decades. Duke 7 consecutive decades, an amazing feat. That comes from Lenny. Trivia question: named the only coach to appear in the Final Four his first year as head coach and his last year coaching. I bet Jason can answer that one. Back in a moment.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. At Stifel Nicholas, we're committed to offering investors personalized investment guidance. We're a full-service organization with departments staffed with professionals that specialize in a wide range of investment opportunities, from the most conservative to the most aggressive. We strive to give each account, regardless of size, careful, individual attention. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times.
Jason says answer to the trivia, Bill Guthridge, and he's exactly right. The first year and last year guy to make it to the Final Four in his first year and his final year. Jason also says, and I didn't realize this, maybe it's just stuff maybe it's just slipped my mind. Maybe I'm thinking about those early season matchups when they play. But he says Kansas has dominated North Carolina since Roy left them. Kansas has knocked out UNC in the tournament 3 times, 08, 12, and 13. So I didn't realize that Kansas is
no, I didn't remember those. I remember the 08 one was in the Final Four. I didn't remember those other two.
Well, you'd think more often than not those two would have to meet as late as the regional final because they're always going to be seeded pretty high.
Yeah.
You know, they might be in the same region and play in a regional final, but maybe multiples of those were.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this: do you want the star power in every Final Four? Or do you want a Cinderella in a Final Four?
You know my answer.
I don't like the Cinderella.
I don't either.
Unless they have a legit shot.
Yeah, if they.
But a lot of times it just weakens.
It does.
One of the games is not going to be as good.
That happens.
So, I think you get 2 really good games tonight.
You do.
Yeah.
One could be a blowout, but I don't expect a blowout. Even if one team wins by 12 or so, I don't think it'll be just a blowout.
Yeah, you'd still think you'd think both of these games
but
come
St.
down
Peter's
to the final 5 minutes.
In
anyway.
the Final Four, I don't think would have been good.
Well,
it might have been good for Duke, but
but not,
that's it.
Yeah, but not just St. Peter's either. I mean, you can go back.
The Final Four we had where VCU and Butler were there. The games were really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now the one exception would be Butler versus Duke in the
that was a good
2010,
that was a good
2015 game.
And they did have a star, Gordon Hayward.
He did.
And Duke, that was probably Duke's weakest team that they've won a title with.
Listen to this. Jason said those Kansas wins were in the Final Four in 08. In 12, it was in the Elite 8, so you're playing for that regional championship. And in 2013, it was the second round. So which team was seeded low?
Carolina must have been an 8 or 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a 1 versus.
Like they were this year.
Is that what that might
Probably.
have been? 1 versus 8 or 9? So,
or a 2 and 7.
Well, Carolina got Baylor this year in the second round because they were.
You look back, George Mason, I don't remember.
Were they competitive? That was my question. Were they competitive in their Final Four game?
That's what I was.
And who beat them?
And how about VCU with who's the coach?
Well, Shaka. He says no.
They lost to Butler.
No.
I mean, it might have been a good game, but it was 2 mid-majors, and then Butler got
definitely don't want to see that.
Got beat.
The worst game I've ever seen in the Final Four has to be 53-41 UConn over Butler. Horrible game. Setting back the calls of basketball.
And that was a final. That was a round of 4,
game.
or that was championship, right?
Remember when UConn had to win like 11 or 12 games and had to win 5 in the Big East tournament, and then of course 6 to win the title.
Jason says Carolina was the 8th seed that year when they lost to Kansas. My question is this, and I think Carolina, just like the other 3, is definitely good enough to win this whole thing.
Yeah.
Has an 8 ever won it?
Wasn't Villanova
I don't know.
in
That's
85
why I don't know.
against Georgetown?
I haven't looked it up. I hadn't done the research. Maybe I should. But and what is the lowest seed to ever win?
George Mason lost by 15 when they made it to the Final Four to Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
Well, that was Florida's back-to-back years then, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Florida beat UCLA by 16.
Yeah, I was going to say that may not be that bad to lose to Florida by. They may have been more competitive.
You remember who George Mason beat in the regional final?
No.
They were in 11. They beat 7 seed Wichita State.
Shockers.
Shockers.
For a mid-major again there, they had a nice run there.
They got to the Final Four.
Yeah, they were. They were a mini Gonzaga.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They
with Greg
Marshall.
Greg Marshall.
Yeah.
Who previously coached at Winthrop.
Is he still there?
No.
Is he still there?
He had some issues.
He had issues.
What was it, treatment of
I think it was
the player or something?
Player treatment, player revolt. Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty much forced to get rid of him, I think.
Yeah.
But George Mason had to beat Michigan State and North Carolina back-to-back games in that tournament.
Well, that's pretty impressive.
Yep. Steve sent me that Kansas also beat Carolina in 91 semis, but now we were just referring to once Roy had left.
Yeah.
Once Roy had left Kansas. So, what's Roy Williams' record against North Carolina and against Kansas? I would like it must not be that good.
Yeah.
It must not be that good because Jason said they started handling North Carolina once Roy left. So does that mean that North Carolina beat them more when Roy was there? Has he been on the losing end of?
Sounds like it.
How can it not be?
Yeah.
It sounds like he's been on the losing end of most of those head-to-head battles.
But he did beat him in 91.
Whichever color he was wearing.
He won
so he
the
was the
91
winner
game.
then. Okay, he was the winner then. Okay. Let's see. Villanova in 85 is the lowest seed to win it, and they were in 8. And that's the lowest seed to win it, according to Jason. So that could be matched. That could be matched if Carolina comes out on top. Lenny says, bad couple of weeks for Blue Blood Kentucky. Number 1, they lost to St. Peter's. Number 2, they got passed by UNC for most NCAA tournament wins. Number 3, they got passed by Kansas last week for most wins ever, just as a college basketball program, nothing to do with the tournament, just most wins ever. Kentucky will probably go in the vault and find some more all-time wins to pass Kansas. They are notorious for that. So I know it's Final Four weekend, and we've got 4 really good programs in the Final Four, but to stay on the Kentucky beat a minute, should Calipari be on the hot seat?
Well, yeah. He was horrible last year, had a losing record. And this year he suffers the worst NCAA tournament defeat in Kansas history, in my view.
Kentucky history.
Kentucky history, I'm sorry.
If he were your coach on your program, you as a Duke fan, Lenny, Jason, others as North Carolina fans, would you want to make a move right now? Would you want to make a move, or you know?
No, not really. I mean, yeah, it's shocking to lose to a team like St. Peter's, but
also be wary of who. You better have a replacement.
Have a replacement lined up.
And who would you go after? You know, I mean, if you want to replace Calipari, get Calpatino up.
Well, we pretty much we pretty much given up the fact that Mark Few's ever going to leave Gonzaga, right? I mean, I don't think that's happening. Wow, I don't know.
While you're thinking about that, Jason says Kansas beat Carolina in the 91 Final Four. Carolina returned the favor in 93, beating Kansas in the Final Four just 2 years later. Lenny says no, and I'm sure he's talking about Calipari. You just can't. I guess you just can't do that. I mean, you got one of the better coaches in college basketball, and they're going to get back. They're going to get back.
Sure,
I mean, here's the problem, okay? And you and I and Brett and Steve, we've talked about this. We don't really like the way that the Duke program has run over the last 8 or 10 years with the one and dones.
We have not liked it.
You have to be fortunate. And they're fortunate. They won a title with a lot of one and dones, right?
3 to be.
But you can't get there consistently with the one and dones.
Yeah.
And Duke's fortunate again this year. This team has come together, played a little harder, a little more heart down the stretch, and they've made the Final Four. But
I think Kentucky and Duke.
I guarantee Duke is the youngest team.
Oh.
In the Final Four. I mean, I would guess that just because.
Well, you think the average age is?
I don't know.
19, 20.
I don't know. But it's hard to win it when
you're
the youngest team. Brett said Arizona was the youngest team in the tournament.
Yep, in the whole tournament.
Couldn't handle it.
They couldn't handle the pressure.
Either.
That's right.
You know, I think you make more mental mistakes the younger you are. You know, and that's why the Kentucky reason I'm talking about all this. Kentucky's doing the same thing. They're going through that too, and they're quite honestly, with the exception of that kid that plays in the middle, and they've got a good guard this year too. His name slips me, but
now Kentucky
Duke's freshmen are a little better than Kentucky's every year, and Duke can't get there.
No,
but 1 out of 5, 6, 7 years now, like we talked about earlier, Kentucky can't either. I mean, you better start getting some,
even though
3 to 4 year players.
Kentucky did get a couple big time guys through the portal this year, didn't he? I mean, more so than
Well, that seems to be the way to go.
the guy from West Virginia, the rebounder.
That seems to be the way to go.
Kentucky's team was definitely older than Duke's team this year.
Yeah.
Tubby and Calipari there. Jason sent me a stat sheet on both of them that Tubby and Calipari 177 wins to 175. That's how close they are. Tubby with the edge by 2. 74% winning percentage. Calipari's 73.
Wow, how close.
13 NCAA tournament wins for Tubby, 9 for Calipari, so he's not that far off the mark. You know what? And more often than not, he would have got closer this year, but he lost to the sneaky St. Peter's team, like you guys said, that really just sneaked up on him. 2 Elite Eights for each. And here's the one key. Well, no, it's not. I thought it was going to be championships. No NCAA tournaments missed, and Kentucky did miss it 1 year under Calipari. Tubby did not miss it at all. And it says one was run out of town, the other has a lifetime contract. But lifetime contracts, though, Jason, I will say, are useless. Yes, Kentucky University's got the money in that basketball program. They're going to get rid of him when it's time. It doesn't matter if he's got a lifetime contract or not. When it's time for him to go, he'll be out the door. Who is it right here? Lenny says Kentucky fans are spoiled just like UNC and Duke fans, and that's true. They expect to be there every single year, not only in it but winning it, and that just doesn't happen.
Nope.
And that's a 7-season comparison, Jason says on those two. Like I said, though, Calipari will bounce back. He's just got to figure out the right method, and it's not always about the one and done players. I just think, Duke's made the Final Four this year. If they continued, in my opinion, just to go with the one and dones and to be the bread and butter of their team, it'd be 5 years before they make it again.
That's right.
If they're lucky. It's just too hard.
And next year we know that they're probably going to lose 8 or 9, 6 or 7, maybe 8 players off this year's team, so they bring in a completely new team made up of freshmen next year.
And the way it's looking right now, the best thing to do is bring in these grad transfers that can help your program instantly. But one thing I don't like about it, and if you follow Vital on Twitter, he put this out there yesterday, and we got to go. And no, we're not picking the game because we have fans on both sides in the matchup. We just won't pick that one.
Let's don't go there.
But
Duke.
But and Lenny and Jason said Carolina. So, now I lost my train of thought. Where was I going?
Dick Vitale.
Transfer portal said it's out of control. That one university lost its entire starting 5. They're gone.
Yeah.
They're in the transfer portal.
Yeah, that's just.
Got to do something about it. Hope the games are enjoyable tonight.
That's all we ask. Entertain me, as Mark.
I just wish Duke and Carolina was an opposite night. If they did win again, they would meet on Monday in the final game. But, it is the first meeting in the Final Four, and we'll have to settle for it where it is. For Brett, Mike, I'm David. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week on Sports Talk.